Hi, I am going to answer a question regarding an email I received. So, I received an email and it asked for during pregnancy, when it comes to strengthening your abs and transverse abdominis, I see mixed recommendations. What are your thoughts on strengthening your core, transverse abdominis, and pelvic floor muscles for a better birth and recovery? And so, let me break that question down. So the question is, how can I keep my core strong? Maybe how can I strengthen during pregnancy? And let's first talk about what the core is. So pelvic floor muscles are the bottom of the core. The front of the core is a lot of different muscles, but the transverse abdominis is what was asked about here. So let's talk about that. That's the muscle that goes from hip bone to hip bone. And when you think about pulling the baby in, up and in, that's the muscle that you're contracting. So that's the transverse abdominis. And then the back muscles, so your gluteus maximus, and then you have these little multifidi muscles. Those are the ones on the back. And then the top of the core is that diaphragm. So being able to take a nice deep breath and fill up your container and let it go. That is using your diaphragm. So those are the core muscles. So let's talk about strengthening them during pregnancy. So when we're talking about building up a core and strength, you want your transverse abdominis, your lower ab muscle, to be engaged and be working throughout your pregnancy. That's what's going to help keep the pelvis together and keep things nice and strong. It's going to help decrease your low back pain, and it's just going to help your pubic bone. It's going to help everything. It's going to help you also regain your abdominal wall strength after baby. So this is a really important muscle to keep checking in with during and throughout the entire pregnancy, especially as you get bigger. The muscle loses its efficiency, and so what that means is it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So you want to be contracting that muscle every single day, and you can contract that muscle during different workouts as well. So you combine that activation with maybe a squat, or combine that activation with a push-up, something like that. And so that's for the lower transverse abdominis muscle. The caveat is, when most people strengthen or engage their lower abdominal muscle, that transverse abdominis muscle, they are also engaging their pelvic floor, meaning that they're doing a Kegel, and they might not even know that they're doing a Kegel. So what I recommend is you should really see a pelvic floor PT so you can know what's happening in your pelvic floor. But doing Kegels during pregnancy is okay. But honestly, what's most important is that you can do a reverse Kegel, completely opening your pelvic floor and being able to bulge past that. So a healthy pelvic floor contracts quickly, relaxes quickly, and bulges quickly. And so you want to have that control. So if you can contract it, but you don't feel it relax, or it's really, really slow, that is a problem. And that means it's not functioning at optimally. And so in order to optimize your body for delivery, for a nice recovery, you want that full range of motion. So I hope that answers the question. Then you want to be able to use your diaphragm. Your diaphragm loses its strength as your ribs flare during pregnancy, so it becomes weaker and weaker and weaker. So working on taking nice deep breaths into the belly throughout the pregnancy is amazing, and that can really help when it comes to labor and laboring through contractions, using your diaphragm and diaphragmatic breathing to help push down on uterus during contractions, and then let it go. It's also a great pain management tool. And when you take those nice diaphragmatic breaths, the pelvic floor in turn also opens up and releases. So the thing is that that's what should be happening, but for a lot of people, and the majority of people I see, that's not what happens. The patterns get mixed up and confused, and especially as the ligaments are loose and you start to get about a 5 to 7 millimeter of change in the pubic bone area during pregnancy, the glutes tighten up, the pelvic floor tightens up, just trying to hold the pelvis together and keep everything nice and tight. So the patterns of what should be happening can change. And so where we see the biggest results is when we improve the patterns, improve the muscle tone, improve the muscle quality. And so I hope that helps. about what you should strengthen and contract and relax during pregnancy. It is really important to keep your transverse abdominis strong, but it's equally, if not more important, to keep to keep pelvic floor at optimal lengths and diaphragm contracting as well. And then we didn't talk about the butt in this video, but it is important to keep your butt nice and strong, because the weaker your butt gets, the more tone and gripping that your glutes are going to do, which then puts a lot more stress on the pelvic floor itself, which means it's going to grip and contract more. So it's just not going to be as smart of a muscle. I hope this helps, and it was a long video, but good luck.